So, I finally did it. After 5 years, finally got a girlfriend. I've been going out with a really great girl, and yesterday we made it Facebook official. We've been going out for a while, and thinking about everybody's reaction in my tribe who maybe didn't already know, I thought about some things I'd like to share, like on video, to you guys, because being in a relationship, it's a very introspective experience because it's an opportunity for you to see yourself through the mirror of another person, and so I wrote down some thoughts actually, and I just wanted to kind of share them with you because I was going to share them on my social media, and it just felt kind of like over text. It just didn't sound that great, so I wrote this. This is my kind of meditation on relationships so far. Relationships are for the brave. Being alone is brave too, but if you've become comfortable alone, the bravest thing you can do is enter a romantic relationship with somebody. Relationships are not meant for reinforcing your delusions or padding your insecurities or sheltering your traumas. Relationships are great self-reflection tools. You choose a partner, you share everything with each other, you start to see yourself through the filter of that person, and that's a serious thing. A relationship with a significant other is so reflective of your relationship with yourself, isn't it? In some ways, I'm sure you'll see that's true. Having a relationship with another person, a romantic, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, real relationship, is one of the greatest self-reflection tools offered to us as conscious beings. So if you're afraid of being alone, don't be a coward. Be brave. Be alone until you think that you're living better alone than people who are living in relationships. If you become this strong single individual, maybe it'll be time to become brave again, and for you to have the courage to expose your heart and your mind and your soul to another, to be exposed and reflected back to you in its raw form. If you're good to yourself, if you love yourself, if you respect yourself, if you're responsible for yourself, if you care for yourself, then guess what you'll receive from your reflection. But if you're an unworthy, despicable, slippery person, what then do you expect your mirror to reflect? If you are a dedicated person in all things, your partner will believe in your dedication to your relationship. If you're flaky, you don't follow through, you go from this to that without finishing anything, it's unlikely that your partner is going to feel that they can trust you. And rightfully so, because you don't really trust yourself. If you did, you wouldn't behave that way. I'm sure, that you'll think these things in your lifetime as well. These are just general thoughts that I'm having about relationships. But if you're living right, if you're self-responsible, and you're always trying to improve yourself, then you will know when the time is right. Either way, go for it. So those are just kind of my thoughts. I think that, it's, you can't see completely into the future, but you can kind of see a short distance into an ideal future for yourself. And I think that being single is a really great thing for people to do, to remember that, in a way we're all one, we're all connected, but because you have a consciousness and a self-awareness, you are also seemingly alone in this, in this universe. So I think sometimes we can become very codependent on our tribe and the people in our tribe, which includes, significant others. And being alone gives you an opportunity to kind of reestablish your personal relationship and develop your inner voice again. In the case that you end up alone in life, you don't want that to be a crippling experience. You should always be comfortable alone, and because you're born into this world by yourself and you die alone. Like, people might be around, but when you cross over in that middle ground, you're going to be alone, and that'll be the most alone you've ever felt because you were too afraid to spend any time alone here. So I recommend it. A really good way to spend time alone is through meditation. If you can just spend time with your thoughts, 10-15 minutes a night, maybe in the morning, you'll begin to develop your inner voice because you're allowing yourself the space to just be yourself and to hear what that sounds like. Throughout the day, you might be listening to music or having YouTube on or talking to coworkers, friends, family members, loved ones all the time. Never really have time to just listen to your own voice. So meditation's a great way for you to do that. If you're in a relationship now, you don't have to break up with your significant other. You can develop your inner voice on your own, in your own path. And I had to consciously decide that, yes, being single is good, but I think that I would be growing a lot more if I had someone to work on things together with. And eventually, you reach a point in your life. If you're in a terrible relationship, you might be feeling the exact opposite way. Like, hey, look, this relationship is extremely limiting. It's limiting my character development and my plot development in my life. And so I need to extricate myself from the situation and redevelop redevelop my character, redevelop my paradigm, redevelop my plot, my life story, right? And so that's what being single can do for you. 5 years is a long time to be single, and I feel like I had just such a tremendous opportunity to just redevelop myself. And so many seasons passed where I could have gotten into a relationship, and maybe I sometimes wanted to, but I knew that my goal was a long-term goal, and that was to become truly like emotionally independent and develop myself out of my previous traumas and create a new paradigm for myself that allowed me to live a greater potential in my life. Because if you get stuck, it's a very scary place to be. If you're stuck in life, it might feel like you're never going to get out, and you very well might not. So that situation, that circumstance, sometimes calls for drastic measures, you know. And so I think that being single for 4 or 5 years was a great thing for me, and deciding to enter this relationship with this great person now is another conscious decision that I'm taking very seriously. You know, it's not a willy-nilly thing. And so because life is a serious thing, let's enjoy life as much as possible, but remember that you cannot rewind. Like, there's no rewind button. So the decisions that you make are permanent. So you know, we're writing our story as we go along, and fortunately there are a lot of beautiful alternatives in our paths that we can write into our story, but you can only do it once. So be wise and conscious in your decision making. And I feel like even in romance, like, know that it's the right thing to do before you do it. And in that way, you will be respecting the other person. You will be respecting the relationship between you, because you're consciously choosing it. You're not just letting life carry you willy-nilly. And it's a great opportunity for you to become the director of your life instead of letting life happen to you. So that's a great thing to do. If you're stuck in a relationship, wipe the slate clean, get out of that, start fresh. This life is something we only get to do once. So I encourage you to do your best. And if you are single, you've been single forever, maybe you feel like you kind of scorn those who are in relationships. You look down on them, you pity them because of their seeming codependency. Well, maybe it's time for you to look at the other side of the coin and consider what a healthy relationship might do for you. Aside from the risk of codependency comes the opportunity of interdependency, which can give you an experience with another human soul that allows you to grow and feed off of each other in a way that builds both people up and magnifies and multiplies the potential in both people. So what that kind of requires is selflessness. Like, you have to be selfless. You have to practice these virtues that are inherently selfless: patience, gracefulness, kindness, generosity. These things that might seem like very vulnerable behaviors. Those are opportunities for you to learn how to love and how to understand another human being, another human soul. Because, you know, we're all one, we're all connected, but we're also each unique people with unique paradigms, unique ways of looking at reality. So it's important, if you're going to be pursuing a relationship with someone, developing a strong bond with another human being, that you have patience, kindness, gracefulness, gratitude, strong communication, and be willing to communicate openly. So, you know, I guess these are just some initial thoughts I have. I'd love to make more videos just kind of about my self-reflective ideas that come to me as I observe things as they mature and grow, without giving away too many personal details. So I hope you enjoyed this, and that's it. Just felt like I want to get in the habit of recording something every day. I write every morning, I read every day, and I just thought, why not just add recording videos to my daily routine? So that I can share some ideas about topics that I'm interested in, start building some legitimate catalog of content that contains my thoughts on the internet. So anyway, this is that. If you like it, please subscribe, share it with your friends. If you have any comments about relationships, thoughts about what I've said, if you feel like I'm wrong, ignorant, foolish, let me know. I would love to hear from you, and let me know what you think I should talk about next. All right, thank you so much, you guys. Peace out.